Right, my little nautical gastronauts, here we are, away from the hurly-burly, the noise, the ding-dong banging of the bell of Newland Fish Market, and we're back in the relative comfort and relative sanity of my own kitchen with the fresh fish which we've just got this morning, as you've seen. And we're going to make today a bouillabaisse. It's one of those esoteric fish stews that travel writers and food writers eulogize about, that French people travel 60 miles to get. English people on holiday who've never tasted it come back telling tales of the best they'd ever seen. Well, I'm going to lay all those ghosts to rest, the complication of cooking it, the expense of it, by simply using this, 5 quids worth of fish that we picked up. Whiting, gurnet, John Dory. Safe, unusual fish, by the way, but our little star thing, for those of you who are so damn smart that you think it only can be made in the Mediterranean, we're going to use the weaver fish, an essential ingredient as far as cookbooks are concerned, but this isn't a cookery lesson, this is an eating lesson. So, there it all is. Then our other ingredients, you're going to follow me around a bit, because I've got to wander all over the place, you know, it's the kitchen working, you know what I mean? Apart from the fish, what we need are some onions. Okay, there's some onions. We need to have some saffron, powdered saffron. No cheapskating on that. Don't use turmeric. If you can't afford the saffron, don't bother with the dish. It's essential. Best quality olive oil that you can afford. No other oil, only olive oil. That is essential. Then we need some pepper, freshly milled pepper. We need some salt. Sea salt is much better than the iodized stuff. We need parsley. I've got it already chopped. We need tomatoes and garlic. And of course, this dish doesn't require any wine in it. It does require wine in the cook. And my little lucky frog here and I are going to have a quick one before we start. Cheers to the frog. And off we go. Right, I'll keep that handy to me there because it's very, very, very hot. Right, now the first thing I've got to do, I've chopped up some of my fish here, which are already, I've taken the scales off, they've been gutted, all the nasty things have been thrown away, but they are still on the bone. That's quite important because they make them taste nicer that way. But we need a few more fish, so I'll just prepare a couple more, chucking heads away as we go. Another gurnet, and I think we'll have another whiting here, which we'll tuck into there, and then we've got to prepare our chopped onion, which can be done a little bit like this. Then we want some roughly chopped up tomato. Now you can be as rough and ready about this as you like, because we're not going to eat any of these parts of the bouillabaisse. These are only the flavourings, all of which will be explained to you as we go along. Garlic doesn't matter if we've got the skin on. This is a sunshine dish. This comes from the Mediterranean, and the yellow of the garlic, the red tomatoes, look, the golden white onions, absolutely smashing. You can be fairly, you know, tough, almost sort of macho about this. Think about French Impressionist painters down in the south of France, because those are the colours we want to get, and with those colours goes the flavour of fish and food and life. Right, now I'm going to begin to transfer all this lot into my lovely copper saucepan over here. Into the olive oil go the onions and the tomatoes and the garlic, and also our saffron. Every little drop of that. In fact, I'm going to just rinse it out because it's so expensive. It's more expensive than certain unspecified substances, actually. Strange, isn't it? But it's all worth it for food because it's a drug in its own right. Okay, now those are going to sweat down for a little bit. I'm going to add a bit of salt at this stage. The odd grind of the pepper mill. One thing I don't like are those enormous pepper mills. I think they're very silly, but a good sized one like that's pretty practical because there's nothing worse than running out of pepper halfway through a deal. Right, that's going to simmer away for a bit, and we'll put some fish in a second. But I do want to emphasise that no matter what romantic tales the food writers and the colour supplements tell you, this is not a gastronomic dish. This is a peasant dish. It doesn't have lobsters and crayfish and langoustines in it. And also, it's one of those dishes that food writers and pundits in general love to argue about. My argument is going to be that this is going to taste delicious. So I'll have no letters, no complaints about things like you forgot to put mussels in, because, by the way, smart pants, mussels only go into Parisian bouillabaisse, and you can't really make bouillabaisse in Paris, as everybody knows. And anybody who also wants to say, well, you can't make it in this city either, is wrong, because you can, because I've got the fish, and I know what I'm doing. Right, So we've got the fish in now. Now the essential cooking process here is very, very rapid, probably about 15 minutes. And to speed that up, I have got hot water, no wine, just hot water to go in there. Now if you put cold water straight in, you'd slow down the cooking process here, ruin the whole effect we've so far achieved. So this hot boiling water goes, and look how it seethes up and bubbles away like that. And this, I'm going to now add a drop more olive oil, because the essence of this is going to be the poached fish, which is going to taste so good, full of sunshine, yellow, full of colour, love, and even romance is in there. But the oil is going to make the sauce congeal to make a beautiful soup to pour over it. Okay, now, as usual, back to the bottle, because we don't do things by magic methods here. That actually has to cook. I have to have a drink. It's very hot. See you in a minute, okay? Welcome back. Now, we've let that cook for a while, and I can assure you the tastes are coming very good, but don't believe me that it was good without perhaps just testing for seasoning. Adding a little more salt, it does need a little more pepper. But this is not the kind of dish, by the way, that you can make with a few frozen haddock fillets and a tin of lobster bisque. So don't you try. I've got a horrible feeling that my producer would do things like that. But then he's a bit of a peasant, actually, despite his immense power. Doesn't know too much about eating and drinking. Now, lift these fishes out carefully. And they've still got the bones in. Now, I leave the bones in because they help to give a gelatinous texture to the sauce. And it's better that they're filleted after they're cooked. That's very, very important indeed. Now, this is where you can't be limp-wristed in the kitchen. So all those of you who think I'm a bit strange in some way or another can see the mighty power in my arms as I lift up this 18-kilo, very expensive copper saucepan. Right, and we don't need that. We're going to throw that away. Actually, you could eat it cold tomorrow in an omelette. Quite a nice thing to do with that. You could.